Alright, today I am a wheel bearing on this 2007 Ford Taurus. I'm going to take you along for the ride. So, the step after you take off the wheel is there is a bolt right here. Sorry for the poor lighting, let me get a light. Okay, so now we are at the caliper, and this is going to be the next step after you get the tire off and everything, get it jacked up. I put the tire under the car for safety. If it falls, it'll fall on the tire, not me. There's this 15mm bolt here and a 15mm bolt right here. Those both need to come out, and then we will tuck this caliper up out of the way, right up here.
I give trouble when I see it, Dad.
It doesn't make sense what you're saying, Drew.
I do hear trouble.
When you see it, if you see it, then you're not here. You know trouble when you see it. Somebody been saying that to you? Huh? Okay. That's out of the way. That can come off. Now, this axle nut here, you should probably take off before it's actually lifted up. I use impact, so it doesn't matter. But after you take the hubcap off, you need to take this axle nut off. I'm going out of order, like I said. So we're going to take that off right now, and then, or have somebody hold the brakes before you take this off if you don't have an impact. Okay, now we're going to go to right here, and that bolt, I believe it's 15. I'm going to use a soft face hammer and tap this axle out so I have a little room to get on this. But without taking this whole steering knuckle apart, I'm going to take this out. But you got to get the axle pushed back a little bit first so you can get like I said, I believe it's a 15mm. And I use a wobble extension on it to give myself a little more room. So I'm going to start by backing these out about 5 threads each, and then I'm going to take an air chisel. If this doesn't come loose after each one of these is out about 5 threads, I'm going to take an air chisel with a blunt point and just tap on the bolts to get this to start moving. There's a removal tool that I will put a link in the description and show you what it looks like in a picture right now. That tool will do what I'm doing with the air hammer, but it's $100 and some. So, okay, let me go ahead and beat this in and start taking these out a little bit, and you can watch that, and then you'll see what I got going on. As you can see now, let me move this light. As you can see now, I have room to put the socket on. 15mm. And this is where the wobble extension is going to come in handy. This is just a Craftsman wobble extension. It's not meant for an impact, but I'm going to use it like that. So you see how that gives me a little bit of room to work in there versus a normal extension. Like I said, I don't want to take this everything apart just to do this. The wobble extension allows me to do this without any extra, doing anything extra. that one's starting to move. Like I said, I put about 5 turns on it. Now I'm going to move to this top one. And I'm going to try to show you this, but it is really tucked up in here.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if you can see that, but it's right up in there. That's the next one. That's the most challenging of this to get out, is that one back there. Because you don't have much room, and it's this is in the way, and you got to do it kind of at an angle. I'm probably going to have to start this with a breaker bar just like I did the last one. But once it's started, I'm going to give it 5 turns, like I said, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about to knock this loose. Because I don't think it's going to, you can see right here all this corrosion. I don't think it's just going to fall out by any means.
Stay together.
6-inch wobble extension. Okay, now that's on there. I'll break it loose. Since this was particularly hard to do, I'm going to do it with just a normal ratchet to avoid having to put that back on off a bunch of times. And it came off, so I'm going to move on to the back side. And the third one lives right in there. Right there. WD-40, I'm going to squirt on these bolts there. Not very willing to cooperate with the move. Okay, that bolt is good and loose. Now I need to get the rest of them moving. But right now, before I take this out, I'll get the air hammer and give it some knocks in that side. Air chisel, blunt end. See that little tiny gap there? It wasn't there before. That was that air chisel, and it's not a super strong air chisel, but it makes a big difference. So it's starting to bust that loose. Let me show you the before with using the air chisel. See this gap now, but it's moving right along, which is what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to try to work on getting that top bolt loose. Okay, top one is finally out. I got to move them back and forth. It's finally out. Now, I am going to back this one out a little more, and the other side out a little more, and then hit them with the impact again. It's a pretty big pain in the butt to do. With when you don't have that right puller and everything, but I take pride in fixing my own vehicles and not having to take them somewhere. So, you know, this is just the norm for me. One wheel bearing out. I'm 42 minutes into this. Kind of a pain in the butt, but I am going to put anti-seize on the... Actually, this car, I'm almost positive, isn't going to make it until the next wheel bearing change. But I'm going to put anti-seize around all of this. So if I do ever have to do this again, it'll come out a lot easier than that did. Now, going back together is just exactly opposite of this, but twice as fast. Literally, I could probably have this back together in 15 minutes. So, I'm not going to tape it, but you could see what it takes. 45 minutes with, I don't know, $600 worth of tools. You could do it with less, but it's way more of a pain in the butt. I'll post a picture of everything I used for this, including the cheater pipe and everything. It's basically a 30 millimeter, a 15 millimeter, and then some random other hand tools. 19 for the lug nuts. Hand tools, very cheap. It's all this other stuff that I'm using that was kind of some money. Like I said, you could do it without it, but it's just going to be a little bit harder. If you're trying to save money, this is the way to do it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.